There was a time, not so long ago, though it feels like a different lifetime, a time when world paused for a loading screen, and happiness came with a soft click of a disc sliding into place. The 2000s, the golden age of gaming, and if you were there, really there, you know exactly what I mean. Back then, gaming wasn't a service or a trend, it was a ritual. You didn't stream it, you lived it. You saved up lunch money for months just to afford a new release. You read the back of the game box 100 times on the ride home, imagining what it would feel like to play. Not just the story you unlock, but the moment your hands wrapped around the controller and everything else faded away. We blew dust from cartridges like it was sacred. We memorized cheat codes like it was scripture. And every save file was very precious, sometimes worth more than our life. There were no day one patches, no microtransactions. If a game launched broken, it stayed broken. But somehow we loved it even more. We didn't need ray tracing or photorealism. We had imagination. Blocky character on the screen wasn't just pixels. It was a hero, a symbol, a friend. Back then, we played together, not always online. In fact, rarely online. We brought TVs to each other's house. We fought over memory cards. We passed controllers like they were torches. And we talked, not through headsets or Discord, but face to face, laughing, arguing, celebrating, mourning all over the game. Halo wasn't just a shooter, it was a battlefield for friendships. Final Fantasy wasn't just a story, it was an odyssey that taught us about pain, sacrifice, and love. And Tony Hawk, that was a rebellion, creativity, and rhythm, all in plastic controller. Games didn't just entertain us, they raised us. They taught us to problem solve, to fail and try again, to lose with grace, to win with humility. They gave us worlds where we could be strong, even when we felt weak. And somewhere in the middle of that decade, maybe on a quiet school night, maybe at summer sleepover, gaming peaked. Not in graphics, not in sale, but in meaning. What is a great video game? The games were full of heart because the people playing them still believed in magic, still believed that anything could happen when the screen lit up, still believed that behind every challenge, every boss battle, every final level, there was meaning. We didn't call ourselves gamers, we didn't need to, we just were. We grew up with Game Boys in our pockets, with cables tangled behind our consoles and TVs, with stories that lived in silicon but stayed with us forever. Today, gaming is bigger, flashier, faster, but in that golden window, that perfect storm of analog meets digital, something real happened, something we never get back, but we never forget it either. Because once the world was just starting to speed up, we paused and we played. But like all golden ages, it didn't last forever. We didn't notice it at first. It was just little things. The cartridges disappeared, the discs got thinner, the box stopped including manuals. Remember those? Those thick, colorful booklets that smell like plastic and possibility. Then came the updates, the logins, the accounts, and slowly, silently, the ritual changed. Gaming wasn't just something you turned on anymore, it was something you logged into. There were no more midnight releases where you stood in line with strangers, all sharing the same electric anticipation. Now games downloaded silently, like another task on a to-do list. And the couch, the sacred ground of friendship, elbows bumping, controllers tangled. It got replaced by Wi-Fi, by usernames, by silence. We gain a lot, no doubt. Global service, high-definition worlds, entire universe rendered in breathtaking detail. But with every advance, something got left behind. The innocence, the magic, the soul. Games started asking for more than just your time. They ask for your wallets, your patience, your data. They started feeling less like a friend and more like a service. We used to wait years for sequels. Now we get updates every week, but rarely the kind that makes your heart racing. We used to know a game was finished because the credits rolled, and sometimes we sat through those credits. Now we wonder if the real game even started yet. And somewhere in all that noise, we stop playing for joy. We start playing for rewards, for achievements, for progression, for the fear of feeling behind. The games never said goodbye. They just evolved. And so did we. But for those who remember, really remember, the smell of plastic wrap, the sound of PS2 disc spinning up, the feeling of staying up till 3 AM just to beat one more level before school. We carry something with us, something that no update can patch. We carry the memory of what gaming once felt like. Although we moved on to newer consoles, to cloud saves, to lives filled with noise and notifications, a part of us still lived there in those older worlds where hearts were full and pixels felt like home. We don't talk about it often, what it feels like to lose something that never said goodbye. To wake up one day and realize the magic is gone, and you don't even notice it leaving. The nights you don't want to end, the games you played with people who aren't here anymore, the version of yourself you only met in those pixelated worlds. Back then you weren't just playing, you're becoming. You were Link saving a kingdom, you were CJ surviving the streets, you were Sora trying to hold the light. You were all of them because they were all part of you. And when the worlds began to slip away, inch by inch, frame by frame, you don't know how to stop it, because no one tells you that one day the golden age becomes memory, and memory becomes longing. You try to recreate it with emulators, with remasters, with retro consoles and YouTube playlists full of old menu music. But it's never quite the same, because what we're chasing isn't just the game. It's who we were when we played it. It's who we were before the world got loud, before everything needed to be optimized, before we measured joy by frames per second and trophy unlocks. And maybe that's the grief we don't name, the silent kind, the kind that lives between save files and shut down consoles, the kind you feel when you realize you never play a game for the first time the way you did back then, not because the games are worse, but because you changed, because the version of you, the one who believed in magic, is harder to find. But maybe that's why we hold on those memories so tightly, why we replay the old soundtracks, why we boot up that classic in the dark, why we keep the disc even if the console don't work anymore. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we're not meant to go back, but at least we can remember. At least we can carry those pieces with us. And the person is still inside us, waiting for the magic to return. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.